All right, what's going on, everybody? We back, we back. Yes, sir, we back. How's everybody doing out there? It's your boy Troy. It's your boy Sean. Hey, we tapped in. Hey, thanks for coming, tuning in with us again. Um, if you're watching this live, hit the like button. First time watching this, hit the subscribe button so you get the notifications. And then share this with your friends, family. I mean, we just having a good old conversation here. And we want you guys to feel a part of it. So, if you want to make comments in the chat, if you're watching this, we'll try to take a look at it. And involve you in the conversation that we have here on screen. But then the other thing is, we want to be able to, moving forward, we want y'all to go over to our Facebook page and like our Facebook page, because we got like maybe 2 weeks left before we can be live on there as well as on YouTube at the same time. So we're looking forward to that engaging conversation and thread there. Again, just help support us. We appreciate each and every one of you that follow us already. Sure.
No doubt, just what he said, man. We appreciate all you guys, and we welcome the engagement. I mean, we talk all the time, and we can talk for hours, but we love to hear what you guys got to say, hear your input. Your input means a lot, and it's all about perspective and all about us growing and learning from each other. So chime in. We love to hear what you got to say.
Hey, so welcome to Tapped In. So, Troy, one of the things that I was looking at this week. Well, not even looking at, but kind of thinking about was, just making little changes in life, right? And how, even for me, you forget about how long it took you to get to a certain place, but you forget. You look at the end goal when you start and you're expecting it to happen overnight. And it just doesn't happen that way. And why do you think that is? Why do you think people think like, hey, somebody say they're going to change or if something's going to change, it's going to happen overnight. It's not going to be a process.
Yeah. I mean, patience, man. Patience is a virtue, and not everybody, has that virtue. And then it's a realistic aspect about it. I mean, think about it. Like you said earlier, most of the time we find ourselves in positions or things that took us a while to get there. And with everything, there's a process. And I think because you may have seen somebody else do it and you see their end result, you're not seeing their process part. You expect, oh, my cousin did it or this one did it, I could do it. But you don't know when they started.
Right.
Yeah. And then I think we all do it with different things. We all have that expectation. I'm gonna get it tomorrow. I'm gonna get that result. But results is nothing but habits that repetitive habits that turn into a lifestyle, whatever. So I think, I think it's wild for somebody to think that it's gonna happen overnight.
Right.
Yeah. Now, did you have something specific in mind when you was thinking about that?
So. I didn't have something specific in mind, but really what made me start thinking about it was on social media watching videos, and it was a transformation video. There was a guy who was in the gym. He was like 450, right? And he was in this like transformation competition. And so he had lost over 200 pounds.
Right.
And, just the work and the time that it takes to get from 450 pounds down to 250 pounds, when like on average, you can lose maybe a pound to 3 a week.
Yeah.
I mean, like when you first start, you might lose maybe 3, but once you get into it, like if you're losing a pound a week, that's good, right? So if you gotta lose 200 pounds, it's 52 weeks in a year.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you think about the habits that he had to get up to 450, and then just the habits that he had to break down, relearn, trial and error, go through. And let's just break it down. That's 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
50 weeks out of 50 weeks out of a year, we can give you 2 weeks to crash out,
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? But that's a 4-year journey.
Mm.
And and what it made me think about was the process,
That's it.
right? So, you have now today, you might be able to do it in a year with that Ozempic, you know,
Yeah.
but you don't get the lesson. You don't learn how to change your thinking. You don't learn how to change your habits. You don't create new habits that get you to a place where that weight loss then becomes sustainable, right?
Hmm.
And so it's like that with so many other things in our lives. So like for me, at work, if it's like, let's say it's slow, and it's like, okay, well, I need more business. And now all of a sudden, I'm going through my database and, past clients and stuff, and I'm making phone calls every morning, which is what I should be doing every day. But because I got this law, it's like, okay, I need to fill this pipeline up. And so I'm making these calls. You make those calls, then you start getting business, then you start servicing that business, and then you don't do the one thing that
Got you there.
yeah, that got you there.
Mm.
And so forming the habit of doing that on a daily basis, regardless of if you're busy or not, is the difference between kind of being, a middle of the range realtor and being a great successful realtor, somebody who's been in the business for a
Oh
long
yeah.
time.
Oh, yeah.
And what I mean, like I've been fortunate enough to be in the business for a long time, but that stuff didn't happen overnight. It was things that I had to do day in and day out and be consistent. And then even there were times where, that comparison thing,
Mm.
where you're doing just as much work as somebody else is,
Uh-huh.
but you see them accelerating, past you. And it's like, hold on, for what's going on here? But that's how life is,
Oh
right?
yeah.
But then there comes a time where it becomes your season where it's like, oh, okay, it was some more lessons that I needed to go through and I needed to learn.
Exactly.
And before I could have that kind of breakthrough that I was looking
Oh
for.
yeah. Oh yeah. And I don't know if it was you. I think so. Matter of fact, years ago, man, you talking 2008, 2009, and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was a book called The One Thing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a
Yep.
book called The One Thing. I remember that, man, because I used to read a lot back then, and I think one of you guys put me up on that
Mm-hmm.
book, and that was part of it. Like that thing that gets you there. It's almost that thing that you gotta remember. You know what I mean? And it's always stopping along the process at one and remembering why you embark on something anyway. Because sometimes you can get in it, and if you're not careful, that comparison thing, like you said earlier, can stop you midway. You say, you know what, man, I've been putting in a lot of work, I'm putting in a lot of time, and you're trying to jump steps, but you're forgetting to focus on that thing that got you there, that thing that got you fired up, or the reason why you started even on that journey. And I think it's also important to celebrate yourself along the way, the small wins.
Mm-hmm.
See, because if you want to lose 200 pounds, you got to lose 5 before you lose 200. Right. So celebrate the 5. You know what I mean? When you get there, celebrate that, clap it up, and then get back on and keep moving it. Because if you wait until I lose 200, then that's 4 years of, am I really getting it done? You know? So yeah, celebrate yourself along the way and just know that everything's a process, man, and enjoy the process,
And I think for that and, just as a microcosm for that, I think the important thing is realizing it's in that whole process. It's not the destination; it's the journey to get there that you learn. That's where you learn. You learn who and what you are. You know what I mean? You learn lessons that you need to learn in life. From the highs and the lows. How do you deal with those things? And so it's the journey that really is what you should be enjoying.
Yeah.
That process. You hear, basketball players and football players say they fell in love with the process of practicing, working,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So then when they got on the court, it was just like it's
Natural.
easy. It's natural. You know what I mean? I'm doing the things that I expected to because I put in the work, right? And because I fell in love with the process of doing it, it made it easy for me to be able to go out here and perform.
Oh yeah, and I'm gonna take it a step further. It's not only the journey, you learn a lot, but it also helps you become a teacher. you can't teach it if you don't know it, if you haven't been through it. You know what I mean? So once you go through that journey, you enjoy the process, you learn so much, and you learn both ways. You learn from your successes, you learn from the failures, you learn from, what not to do, what to do. So it makes it easier to share some of that with the next person that's coming. Because I've been through this process. So now I can educate you on this. So if I jump 10 steps and I get here, the next person coming behind me, hey, how do I do this and that? If you haven't been through the process, you can't teach them anything. Right. So yeah, it's important.
Yeah. So tell me, how do you feel about, let's just say you in the gym, right? And you working out, and I don't know, because we don't go to the same gym, so I don't know how you might go with it. You know what I mean? Go AT, or you know what I mean? You might take your shirt off or something like that. But like when you're in the gym, how do you feel if your in our cases, let's say your wife go to the gym and it's like leaving nothing to the imagination?
Man, listen, but I was just talking about that the other day. I'm talking about, you can go back as far as 5 years ago. Gyms, first of all, they were secluded. You had women's fitness, you had men's fitness. Now I go to Pure Fitness, and all the gyms now have kind of tore down the wall, and it's just one big thing. And when I tell you, man, it's just like wearing undergarments to the gym. I mean, 5 years ago, you was putting on sweatpants, hoodies,
right?
And now it's almost, like you said, nothing left to the imagination. And you talking about the men or the women? The women, man, the designers. Come on, man.
I ain't know jokers going there with biker shorts.
Well, listen,
on. I mean, Lord,
some guys do it too.
Olympia.
Yeah, they do it. And man, I feel like we called walking up to us and said, "Look, man, you know better." Man, it's a few of them. But even with the females, though, and I have a teenage daughter, and she go to the gym and stuff too. And I get it. You there, you want to be unrestricted, you want to be comfortable. But yeah, man, it's a lot. I mean, just watching, looking in the gym, and it's almost like you have to have tunnel vision and not even turn from side to side, because there's always somebody in there. And I think some are really dressed like that to come to work out, and some are coming for the attention, and you don't have time to weed out who's who. So the only thing you can do is focus on what you're doing. But from the perspective of it being my spouse or my wife, me personally, I can't do it. That's for me to see, and I'm not saying you have to be bundled up or going in and looking like a nun or nothing like that. But come on, respect yourself.
So I'm gonna take this a step further. Okay, so what if that's how you met your spouse?
And you have people like that. Well, we both are into the gym. We both into fitness a whole lot. We meet like that, but that's not your wife when you meet her. Okay, I'm gonna go back. It's not your wife when you meet her. Okay. When you meet her, you meeting off a different type of pretense. Okay, right. But once we mature to a level where we say we're gonna take this thing exclusive, now you coming up off the shelf. You know what I mean? You coming up off the shelf. We don't have to display you no more. Oh, okay. Yeah. So
you mean tell you if you was in the gym working out, it wasn't how she was dressed that caught your attention. It was the book that she was reading when she was on the treadmill.
Man, we men. We men. We're gonna keep it all the way 100, man. It's in there. They're in there, and God created men, women. He created physiques. And, it's an art to it. So, yeah, someone that put in a lot of work and, they get the results that they want, you should be proud of that. Mm-hmm. Do I think everyone should be privileged to it to be able to see it? But on the same token, it's a time and place for everything. The gym, you can get away with it a little bit more. I'm not a big fan of it. But at the same time, when you leave the gym and you run to Walmart and you run into the grocery store here and there, I don't think it's proper attire to, move around Not if your mom wants.
Right. So so let's take it further. So you married, got the physique, stuff like that, and I mean, just like when do you feel like it's appropriate to show what you're working with?
Um, well, of course, behind closed doors, where we making it do what it do, of course. But
Right.
other than that, I mean, it's a time. I mean, you go on vacation, you out, you on the beach. I mean, you're not gonna go on the beach with a sweater on. You know, what I
Right.
mean, you're gonna put it on. You know,
Going to the
if
mall.
you're on a yacht,
Going to the mall. We're going grocery shopping. Like,
I think class is something that you really can't teach. And you can sometimes less is more, and not and not in the terms of taking it off and having less clothes on, but I'm talking about the less you try to have certain type of appeal, you can have it. Because sometimes you can wear the right jean, the right crop top, the right, and still get that same effect.
right.
Than someone coming with everything showing, leaving nothing to the imagination. Because honestly, it doesn't necessarily mean a female is that type, a certain type of female, whatever you want to call it. But their
gives off the
view,
aura.
it gives us the aura of that. And if you're in a space where it's a lot of immature males,
Right.
men, then you're gonna be food. You're gonna be something. You're gonna be looked at as food.
Right. And you're gonna warrant that. You're gonna warrant that same energy coming towards you. So, yeah. So like if you're a young woman and you watching this, um, you know, I would say from a man's perspective, like what Troy said, less is more. It's you can get up, you can get dressed, you can get fly. I mean, you can even show. You can even show. You figure if you've been working on it or whatever, but it's a way that you can do it that also sets boundaries for men as well. You know what I mean? So like that, what you put out there is it's going to attract guys that are attracted to whatever they see, right? And so in an instance where if you're dressing with a little bit of class, a little bit of style, you may be showing some skin, you might be showing some figure, but you're not trying to show everything, and you leaving them kind of imagining more. That's a way to be able to find that higher quality of male that you might.
of course. And then also with that, it's a certain way, guys and girls, it's a certain way you move. You know what I mean? Certain ways, certain things you do. I've been places where I've been to weddings and things like that where, okay, the dress might be shortcut, this and that. Well, when you sit down, you see if you're a lady, you're going to cross your leg, you're going to do this. The drinks start flowing. Some females, I don't know if they're not taught from young age or not, but they get sitting all kind of way, your legs gapped open, this and that. And I'm not going to take advantage of it because me personally, I tend to look the other way. But speaking for other men in the room, like, listen, that's how you're going to be looked at. And you can be totally innocent in that situation, but it's a certain mannerism or a certain way you have to carry yourself. Mm-hmm. And that's even with men too, though, because sometimes we'll get a little too loose. And when you're around these females, there's certain things that you can say, certain things you can, certain jokes and certain things you can, that can be offensive and inappropriate. And I think just because a female may be showing more skin or dressed a certain way, I don't think that gives any man a right to approach her with any type of way either. Right. Because as a father, I would be upset if my daughter told me, hey, this guy, man, he followed me around the store and he just kept saying inappropriate things. I want to know, where he at? Who is this guy?
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing for the guys, man. Just because a lady looks or dressed a certain way, that's not an open invitation for you to treat her with any kind of disrespect or anything like that. We should all be, gentlemen and treat women in a way that, we treat our moms or our sisters or our daughters. I think if you approach it with that level of respect, regardless of how the female dresses or looks, I think you got an opportunity with anyone.
let me ask you this though, as a husband, how much say or do you have a say in what you would like for your woman to wear, or do you think that if you tell her your preferences, it should be considered?
Yeah, as a husband, if there's something that my wife wears that makes me feel uncomfortable, it makes me feel like, hey, you gonna get the type of attention that I don't think that we need or that you need. It's like, okay, I don't think that's something that you should wear. And vice versa. It was something that I had on. It's like I don't like the way that looks. It's too inviting or whatever to other women. It's like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? It's more. I mean, I dress to to really look good for my wife, right? And and vice versa. She don't care what anybody else thinks. She want to know what I think about what she has on. If I don't think she's the most beautiful woman in the room or the most classiest woman in the room, it's like, all right, well, I'm putting up on something else then. Until you like what I got on.
Okay.
So like for but that's for us. But you know what I mean? But I think if you married and you husband and wife, y'all a team and you should be able to have that conversation. Like, hey, this, I think he's showing to you.
So it's not deemed controlling.
I don't think so. Because in the sense of if that's what we built on, you know what I mean? Like if you control and trying to tell her what she can and what she can't wear, and I'm just narrowing this down to, you know what I mean? Like, hey, something might slip out at any minute. You know what I mean? Like that type. I'm not saying like, so that's what I'm saying. But like as far as like what she wears on a day-to-day basis, that's all right.
Yeah. I think it's a fine line. I mean, you could be insecure. Some men are insecure, and you got to think about it. When women go out, and this is just from what I understand, what I've heard, a lot of women dress for other women.
Yeah.
They don't, they're not dressing and say, oh, I'm going to go out and try to look like this for the men. They dress for other women. I'm going to kill them tonight. So a lot of them dress toward that. So I guess they look at each other to validate that type thing. But in a relationship, I think that it still should be a level of, I don't know. I mean, respect. And I don't know if that would be considered being loyal to what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
I mean, if respect and loyalty, I think it's more of respect. If you know that your partner doesn't like, you doing a certain, wearing a certain type of clothes or whatever, it's just like out of respect. Okay, I won't do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
I won't wear that. But I don't think that's loyalty. I think loyalty is something totally different. I think that's something that's learned, that's earned over time.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I don't. You know what I mean? I don't think. I don't. And the two are they're tied close together, but I'd rather have loyalty.
Do you? Okay. You gotta have loyalty than respect.
I think because if you're loyal to me, you respect me.
So is it possible to be loyal if it's okay? Put it this way: if it has to be bought,
It ain't loyal.
is it loyalty in your book?
No. Loyalty can't be bought. Loyalty can't be bought because then your loyalty has a price. Because then somebody can pay you more money.
But I disagree with that, and the only reason I say that because I just got a plaque today from my job, from one of my jobs, and for 10 years. I've been there 10 years. I'm loyal to that brand. I'm loyal to that company. But I'm loyal as long as that direct deposit is in my account.
Right.
Now, they belly up tomorrow. I can't promise you I'm going to clock in and do that anymore because, I'm loyal. But at the same time, it's because I'm getting paid.
So, if tomorrow, if tomorrow you got a call from somebody doing the same type of work and said, "I'll double your salary if you leave there," would you leave or would you stay?
Oh man, that's a tricky one because for a 9 to 5, yeah, I would leave. I would leave because now if it's a business, now I have different business ventures with partners. Now if I'm partnered with somebody in a business venture, and somebody else come along and say, hey man, if you come and help me out in this venture, I'll double what you guys got going on. I wouldn't do it. Right. Because I'm loyal. Whatever when I start something and I give you my word and we lock in, I'm loyal. And sometimes to a fault. Right. Because there's times I probably should have jumped ship on some things, but I said, nah, because I said I'm rocking with you, I'm gonna rock with you.
But in those instances there, that wasn't tied to any money. It wasn't involved. Your loyalty is really based off of your word and you saying, okay, we're gonna do this together, regardless of if we make money or if we don't. Now the intention is probably to make money, but you don't know that. But you're also saying that if somebody came along and was doing the same exact thing and was just offered you a bigger bag, you're saying that no, because of my word and my loyalty to this person, that bag don't mean nothing to me.
Yeah, but in reversing it now, and I don't want to get it too convoluted, but going back to what we said, okay, now you have different levels of loyalty. Because yeah, I'm loyal to, like I said, the brand, my job, but I'm loyal to my family. So if somebody come along and say, hey, I'm going to double your salary, that's not that I'm being disloyal. It's just that my loyalty lies a little bit stronger with my family. This is going to advance the family more. So,
right. So what does your family pay you?
No, Ma.
No, but so
okay, so I'm making your point, right? I'm making your point.
You know, I mean, that loyalty, that loyalty to your family means more than anything.
Yeah.
Right. And that was something that was built over time. That was earned over time. Right. And there's no amount of money that somebody can give you to trade. You know what I mean? To take that from you. So that loyalty that you have to your family has no dollar sign.
That's true, and that's why I think it's levels. Like everything is levels, because I'm a huge movie watcher. I watch some A-list movies, and I watch some other TV stuff. I watch everything. Now if you got somebody, let's say a lot of street organizations, they have goons or whatnot. Those goons, man, you call it in, they're gonna go handle it because they know that it's going to cash out. And after they've done that for some time, they become loyal to you, your cause, but it's because you're going to pay them. In situations like that, I don't think you can expect somebody to be loyal if you're not.
That's not
We're
loyalty.
in America. Huh?
That ain't loyalty.
What is that?
That's respect. They respect you because you're taking care of them. As soon as you stop taking care of them, you'll find out if they're loyal to you or not. So, like a perfect example is like what's going on with Lil Durk right now. You know what I mean? Let's just say that was one of his goons or whatever that went down, went to jail.
Yeah,
came back, gave him $100,000.
Yeah. Paid his lawyer fees,
and all of that. From the time he got out, from a week after he got out, he gets stopped and he was wearing a wire from then until who knows when. So, where the loyalty at?
I don't see. It's hard to say because there's so much in the backstory. Because was he ever loyal? See, because so you don't think you can become disloyal? It's a word called disloyal.
If you loyal. Like,
so you don't think circumstances could change loyalty?
It comes with it. Like it comes with it. Like you can earn somebody's respect, right? But when somebody's close to you and you just built this bond, you become loyal, right? If you become loyal, that's a bond different than respect. Like you can look at somebody from afar and say, I respect that person. I respect what they do. I respect, how they carry themselves, how they handle themselves, right? But I'm not loyal to that person.
Right.
If I'm loyal to a person, that's somebody I got to know. I have to know their character, the qualities. There's something about that person that makes me want to stay loyal to them.
Mm. Yeah.
And so with that, like with what he got going on, dude could never be loyal, man.
Right. And is it realistic to have that many people around you and expect everybody to be loyal anyway? Because when you talk about loyal, I can name the folks that's loyal to me and my circle and over our lifetime, I know the ones that's loyal. That's loyal. When I think loyal, I think dedicated to the cause, the process, the long journey. Right?
Yeah.
When you locked in like that, I mean, it's only a few.
Right.
And like you said, so I think, you know what? You done poured me over to that side. Now, I think loyalty, to get to that point of loyalty, I think you can make some installment payments to get jokers there. Still, I still believe it because, I mean, we live in a society where everything is based around the bag. So it's something that has to bring you over to my side. That's how a lot of people get to know each other over a business dinner or over this, and that could turn into a great friendship that turns into a loyal friendship after a while. But it was based off of a transaction.
I think you can meet I think you can meet somebody who could be loyal off of that, but the relationship can't be based on it. It can't be based on It can't be based on transactional what you can do for me. Because at some point in time, there becomes a better offer. There becomes, or you stop giving them, right? So now you can be giving somebody something, and then you stop, and now you the bad person because you're not giving them what you was giving, which it wasn't theirs anyway.
Right.
You was doing that out of the kindness of your heart, and it's like, hold on for a sec. So what was this?
Right.
You was just kind of.
Right. It's a one-way street.
It was a one-way street, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And to me, like, that's why I say, that the loyalty thing is only something to me that can be gained and can be built over time. And it's almost from a giving aspect. You know what I mean? So giving not as far as money, giving as far as your time, giving as far as you being there, you being tied into the cause, supporting them and what they doing. And they reciprocating that same thing back to you has no monetary value. It's like the gifts that you have within yourself that nobody that you can give freely to another person. That's how you build loyalty.
Okay.
Not by the exchange of monetary things. It's almost like the things that you can't buy. I can't buy. If I'm trying to think. You know what I mean? So like I've got a cousin where I know if if I didn't have no money and my car broke down and I was at the Bay Bridge, that I could call him, and as long as he wasn't at work, and he might even be at work, and be like, hey, but I'll be there. I'll be there as soon as possible. I don't have to pay him no money. I don't have to pay him no gas money. It's just like, he doing it because he know I would do it for him. Right. And so to me, like those type of things is where you find somebody where there's nothing for you to gain out of it. You giving of yourself.
Okay.
In order to make this work.
So what do you say to, because we both have daughters, and we have sons, we have sons, we have daughters, we have children all together, and watching some people be loyal to where, like I said earlier, it could be a fault. So you grew up together, your childhood friends, but at some point, your goals and the trajectory of where you're going kind of takes a different path. But because I'm loyal, and you could be loyal from a distance, but learning that at a young age is hard.
It is.
because you think loyal means I don't want to go, but I'm gonna go.
Right.
I don't want to participate in this, but I'm gonna do it.
Right.
That's not, but that's what you think as young until you get mature age. So as a parent, watching your child be loyal to a person who you probably can see that they don't deserve that type of loyalty or that it's not good for them.
Mhm.
What do you say to your kid in that situation?
I think it comes down to how do they treat you, right? Because I think a lot of times we push past some of the. Usually, when you get to the point where you're loyal to a fault, you push past all of the warning signs that came up before it got to that point, right? Little things like it's crazy because I had this happen. If you got a friend and you loyal to them, but then you find out when they with their other friends, they talking about you. They're not loyal.
They're not loyal. No, that's
not.
not loyal. Listen, guys, that is not loyalty. I'm a firm believer on that.
Yeah, so that's not loyalty. I mean, if it's somebody that you only shared this information with, and it gets out, that person's not loyal. You know what I mean? So there's things along the way. Are there times where you jump up and do things for this person, but when you need them to help you out, it's like there's always something else to do. In instances like that, so to me, it would start by just asking them questions. Like, do they do the same thing for you that you would do for them? Are they there? Are they there when you need them? Are you there when they need you? How does this person really make you feel? Do you feel better when you're around this person, or do you feel like you got to be something different?
Or is it draining to you, right? Or to your energy or whatnot?
Right. And do you feel like it's a one way? Do you feel like this is one way? Like the reason why this person is around is because of the things that you're doing, or that you're providing for them, or that they have access to, right?
We can go on so long about this, but see, loyalty doesn't necessarily mean there's not character flaws, though. So I'm gonna kind of back up because I know we said that person they can talk about you around that person, which in most situations that could be true. But I have a friend, close friend of mine, and he struggles with addiction. Struggles with addiction, and when he's under the influence, he's not himself. So it may be some things said or some things, somebody get back. No, he said it's never nothing too damaging, but I know him. I know the real him. I know his heart. I know how he's always there for me. Right now, if I need him to come underneath the house in the crawl space this time of night, he'll do it. So I know he's loyal to me. But is there a lot of character flaws there? Yeah, absolutely. But because of his loyalty to me, since I was a youngin', I don't hold him to, I hold him to a different standard.
Right.
Now, granted, I deal with him in a different capacity than I would deal with.
That's what I was going to say.
So,
Yeah. So like, you know this, you know that they're that outside of this character flaw and this, addiction, I know who he is. So you kind of have to operate in your relationship with that person with that in mind. Okay, there's certain things that I can't give, that this person doesn't have access to, or that this person doesn't know, because I know what can happen when they're not who they, when they're under the influence of something that makes them not be themselves. And so you handle that accordingly. So does that make that person, man, does it make them just, that's a good one to end off of, because when they're not under the influence, they're loyal.
Yeah.
But does the influence make them disloyal? If it does,
well, going back to the movies and stuff we talk about, I mean, think about it. Sometimes it could be your right hand man that pillow talk too much, might want to have a female where, oh man, my buddy, we getting money, we doing this, we stat. He's loyal. He just got a bad character flaw. And that's why I think DMX said it best, man. He said you have to know who you're dealing with and deal with them accordingly.
You do. But to me, if you know that, it can't be my right hand man. Because I can't. So if he is anything that I feel like could be detrimental to me, he wouldn't know.
Right.
He wouldn't know. Right? Because it could be he just can't keep his mouth shut. So then that means there's certain, like, anything dealing with somebody needing to keep their mouth shut, he's not gonna be around.
That's it.
He's not gonna be there. Right? That's just not going, we just can't get down like that.
Right.
But if it's other missions that, that need to get done, that need to happen, it's like, okay, well, we can do that, but nah.
Okay.
So speaking of, we're just talking about, like addiction. What do you think about social media and the addiction,
man,
that it can have on? I can't even say young kids. I mean, I think it is bad, but even for just adults, like the peer pressure and yeah, I think it's a peer pressure. The need to be seen, or the attraction to the likes, and how many comments you got, and what it really is, like what other people think.
It's almost a reflection of what you have going on in your personal life. And don't get me wrong, some people are really outgoing, outspoken, and that's what they do. They don't mind being the center of attention, and they like to bring, like to make people laugh, and they're funny. And that's a platform for them to do that. But then it's if you're insecure, if you're in a relationship where you feel like you're not getting the attention that you're supposed to get, then those blue thumbs, those likes, and those hearts, man, they become addictive to you. So you put up a post that, oh, okay, well, nobody's in my house talking to me. We ain't got nothing going on. Let me get up here. And then it's almost like, one thing about social media is you need content.
Right.
So now it's like, and you can judge by how addictive it's becoming to you when that content starts taking over the things you should be doing. Like, oh, I should be doing this tonight, but I'm gonna do this because I'm gonna go here because I can record this,
right?
And this is gonna look good. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, when I go here, and you have people that go as far as spending money to do things that they normally wouldn't do,
so they
can record and have this content, because, like you said earlier, it's the new peer pressure, man. Like, what's next? Where are they at? I ain't seen them in a while. What are they doing?
Right.
It's addictive.
Yeah. And so, like, even because most of the time, like when I'm making content, it's usually for something real estate related or something. Or, there's not a lot of times where I'm making content about my personal life. I do posts. I might have a picture or something like that about my personal life, but it's just like it's almost like a thin line between reality and virtual reality, right? It's just like you're this person, if I'd rather capture my life in the aspect where you see who I am as a person rather than my highlight. The things that I'm interested in, the things that I'm doing. And I'm not, and to agree with what you're saying, some of these people are taking trips and stuff because they want you to think that is what their life is. So that begins to control them. I'm all for if it's a narrative of your life, but if you're creating another narrative that is contradictory to your life, that's
exactly. Because again, some of us get some of our best ideas or travel vacation stuff from people sharing. So we it's a great thing to share, but with that, it's also a responsibility of not to get consumed. I mean, because I mean, sometimes I have conversations, and with certain people, and every conversation we have is something that they seen on Facebook, and I'm like, man, is that the only place you're getting your information now? Do you have an original thought of your own now? Are you reading, or what are you doing? Because not just posting, but even scrolling on Facebook, TikTok, it becomes addictive.
It does, man. It's crazy because you said something right then that was a thought of something that I wanted to talk about and it goes right along with that, the addiction for social media, the consumption of it and the creation of it. It's like when you spend most of your time looking at it or trying to create it, when do you actually have time to think about your life?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Right? Or just sit down and think and form your own opinion. You know what I mean? Because you're soaking up information all day long. If it's not on social media, it's the news, or you're in the beauty or the barbershop and they talking about something else on social
Oh
media.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So like the ability to be able to plug, because like sometimes I feel like, like the phone is the closest thing to the matrix and being able to unplug, right?
Yeah.
Unplug from it and really be able to sit and think like, okay, what do I really want out of my life? Not what I'm seeing other people do, but what are the things that really interest me as an individual? What things do I think are fun? I literally asked myself this about a week ago. Like, what are the things, if you take everything away, what are the things that I like to do that make me happy? Right? That didn't involve anything with social media, involved like either spending time with my family, like with my grandmother, working with my hands, cutting hair, like working on a house project. Those are the type of things, working with young kids, coaching and things like that. Like those are the things that are actually valuable.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
That means something. And that I don't want to keep saying addiction, but that pull to want to constantly create content or constantly look at content takes you away from the actual purpose that we're supposed to be doing.
I agree.
Connecting. It's crazy because you think you're connecting with people doing that, but you're really not. It's when you actually face to face and sharing thoughts and ideas and your wisdom and experience with people. That's really what.
Yeah, you can be more impactful in person anyway. Absolutely. When you touching somebody's life right there in real time. A post, they're gonna look at it, and then 2 seconds later, they're on to the next post, and it's an afterthought. And then also another aspect of that for me is I'm a big believer of enjoying the moment. If I'm at a concert, I want to enjoy every moment. I want to see what this joke over in the corner doing. I want to see how he's gonna, attack the stage. I want to kind of take it all in. So if I'm standing here looking through a lens, a camera the whole time, it's like, yo, you here. Why not enjoy the moment? Now, don't get me wrong. I'll take, even when I'm traveling, I'll take a picture. Right. You'll see a picture, maybe two. Now, when I went to Africa, that was a little different because, like I said, that was totally different. So I was kind of just amazed. But most times, I like to maybe snap a shot, say, hey, yeah, we here enjoying ourselves because, document it. But you won't know everything that I did on that vacation, everything I enjoyed, because I'm too busy enjoying the moment. I'm really there with the person we're enjoying our time. And I can't always have this camera, because it's not authentic.
Right. And the other thing to that, like I could imagine being a performer, like at a concert now. Like as soon as you come on stage, all the cameras that's up and looking at you. And the crazy thing is, most of the time, those people are on live. So really, they just trying to flex to the people that's on the gram or on Facebook. Like, look where I'm at. And it's like you doing that, but then if I ask you next week, something about the concert, it's like you got to go back and look at the live to even know what I'm talking
because you didn't enjoy it, you didn't live it. Yeah.
And how many times do you do it? How many times do you look at or video something at a concert and actually go back and look at it? Most of the time they just take up storage on your phone and you try to take a picture. Now you got to delete one of those videos there in order to get more pictures. So
Yeah.
So yeah. So let's switch. Let's go in another lane, man.
Mhm.
Let's say you go to the mailbox today
Mhm.
and you open up a piece of mail and it says, TD Bank, and well, it's in your wife's name, right? And it say TD Bank. You just open it up by accident, and you open up it's the statement,
Uh-huh.
and it's $60,000 in there, and you ain't know nothing about it.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's an account you never heard of. You don't know nothing about. Like what you doing? How you feel about that?
ah, man. It's a conversation. Right? It's a conversation. First, I gotta explain why I opened the mail, but that's
Right.
a whole. But you accidentally opened it. It was must have meant for me to see it.
Right.
Man, that's never really thought about that because women. One thing you gotta know about women. Women always got something tough. But 60 grand, that's more than a tuck. That's something heavy.
Right.
I mean, it was definitely a conversation that would be had, and I would want to know why
Mhm.
you felt the need not to tell me about that. You know what I mean? Because what are you planning? Is it an escape plan? Are you plotting to, I mean, I want to know why. I mean, as being married, I think we should be privileged to each other finances to a certain degree because I mean we both have our own businesses and stuff like that. And she does the accounting and everything for her business, doing mine.
Mhm.
But now when you talk about personal
Mhm.
account, that's a whole different ball game.
And 60,000 could be extreme. So, but just like an account that you don't know nothing about that got some money in it, like just because.
Only, and I'm going to say this about my situation. I wouldn't feel the greatest about it, but at the same time, because that level of trust is there, and because I know that if tomorrow I fell on my face, I'm talking about with nothing, like everything was sweet, I know for 1,000% that my wife got me.
Mhm.
So I would be happy that you had that tuck to, help me. So I think it's just based off the dynamic of the relationship. I mean, I would hope to think that she would want to tell me about that because I would be proud of her to say, "Oh wow, you saved that, you got that much put up." But at the same time, I wouldn't feel a negative way about it. I don't think so because I know that if I ever was in need of anything, she would, hold me down.
So what if she was honest with you? And was like, that was money. Like it's kind of what if money. It's, you know.
See, now I don't think we should have a backup plan. Now the backup plan money, I don't get down with that because
Right.
that's. But at the same time, also, if you watch, because granted, you can, in a relationship, you shouldn't, because it depends on everybody. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. Everybody does their finances different. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? We have joint accounts, we have separate accounts. We had that. We had one that pay all the bills from, money goes here. But we do have because I mean, think about it. You have anniversary gifts, you got Christmas gifts, you got things you want to do that sometimes you want to do, do something special for your spouse. You don't want to have, hey, I need $500 from the account to surprise you. They don't, they don't work that way. So you got to have some. So I'm okay with that, man. Tough, but if you watch me carry a load that was beyond what I normally carry, let's say if we had several, vehicles break down and we had some repairs we had to take care of, some things at the house that needed to be taken care of, and you watch me write these checks and you had that tough money and you didn't, yeah, I might feel some type of way. What do you think?
So for me, it's like it is for me it is a little bit different because we do have the businesses, so we have different businesses that have their own accounts that has to cover that business. But like aside from that, all of our accounts are going. Yeah, you know what I mean. So like that's the to me it's like we working to go towards the same goal, same life. You know what I mean for us and our family. So it's all there, and it allows us to be able to make decisions on if we want to pay. If we've got a credit card bill that we want to pay down or whatever, it's like, okay, well, we got the money, we can pay it down. But like for like just tuck money, yeah, I got a problem with that. You know what I mean? Because you got a plan B when this is the plan. Like this right here, what we doing is the plan.
Mhm.
So like having a plan B money, nah, I'm not with that. Now there is a circumstance where if you got a spouse that is like blow the bag, you know what I mean, known to blow the bag,
Mhm.
might go to casino or you know what I mean, might uh like to shop a lot, you know, and they make bad decisions with the money that leave y'all stuck sometimes when you know y'all should have the money.
Mhm.
And as a spouse, it's just like going back to that loyalty question where this thing that this person is doing is not enough for you to leave them, but you're not going to allow them to allow for you to be in this
Right. So
position.
you have to be more responsible.
So you got to be more responsible, and you taking money to make sure, like, okay, if he happened to come up short, or you know, what I mean, don't have the cash to make the mortgage payment, or make this payment, or get this car repaired, I put a couple $1,000s to the side in case that happens, so that we not stressed.
So let's say a couple, you know, maybe the wife, and this is just randomly, she works in a restaurant. She gets a salary, but she get tips or whatever. So you feel like in a relationship, those tips that she got every night, she has a jar, she tuck maybe for when, you know, later on the kids need this and that, she give them $10, $15 there. You think that the husband should be privileged to what's in that tuck jar?
Um, that's great. So I'm saying I think in that scenario, we know what that money's for.
But that money could be more than what you think it is. So it's just a high end restaurant, and
It it could be. It could be. So like for we man, it's kind of crazy. Um, because in the circumstance that I'm talking about, the husband don't know about it, right? Or so let's say I keep saying the husband because I'm a husband, but you know, it could be the wife. The wife don't know about it. You know what I mean? But if that's tip money and you still bringing home everything that you're supposed to, like I almost kind of look at that a little bit different. You know what I mean? In a situation where it's just like, okay, I'm putting this to the side for whatever, so we don't have to go into our quote unquote own money
right.
to be able to get a kid's money. It's crazy because like my wife does that. You know, it's like, but I know, right? I know that she saves like some of the tips and stuff that she gets. I know where it's at, but I just don't bother. You know what I mean? It's not like she's trying to hide it from me. It's just like she just have it there. If she want to go buy something or whatever, it's there for her to go buy it. And to me, it's there. If we ever got in the jam, it's there to get us out of the jam.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So as a husband, it's just like, okay, well, if that's what you want to do, I'm cool with that. I'm not gonna bother that money. You can use that money to do whatever you want to do. But if it comes to where we in a jam, then it's just like I wouldn't even have to ask. He's like, hey, you know, we got this, so you know, what I mean, this money right here, we can pay for it. But if it was a situation where I was jamming up the family, I wouldn't be mad if she had that and didn't tell me.
You would be relieved in a sense at times when you know you done blew the bag and come back and she said, you know what, I'm gonna get us back on track. Right. And I think vice versa, because you have some men that's more financially responsible than the woman, and sometimes you know, the shopping habit could get a little heavy, or you know, like say going back to that addictive social media thing, man, you know, you want the new outfits, you want to take these trips, and one person in a relationship might be a little more, you know, financial stable and say, you know what, I'm gonna put this back because I know that when we get back, we still gotta take care of this, or it's an investment, or it's something that we want to do down the road. So I'm gonna be proactive and put this money up. It's not saying that I'm being secretive. I'm just being proactive because I know that we want to make this move in 2 or 3 years, but as a couple, day-to-day life is not, the spending is not adding up to our goal. So I'm going to take the responsibility to do that. And I think, man, when you can trust one another, and because it's strengths and weaknesses. Right. We talked about being equally and unequally yoked. Right. Well, you know, strengths and weaknesses in every relationship. So I just think in some relationships, yes, both people are on the same page and are financially responsible. But in some relationships, you have the one that can care less. Some people really don't worry about money like that.
Yeah, and in some case, and like I don't want people to confuse this by people who like struggling. You can be well off, well to do, making good money, and you still got one that's more conservative and another one like, oh, we got 60 grand in the bank, I can buy a truck. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
But you know what I mean? Like it can happen on any end of the spectrum, and then one is just like, yo, like you spending that 40,000. Like, yeah, I know we making good money, but I felt a lot more comfortable with that money in the bank than you driving around with a brand new truck, right? And so in that instance, you know, for whoever that is, they might think putting that little money to the side like a little insurance policy. Like even if you do, I know we straight. You know what I mean? And speaking of insurance, you know, one of the things that I wanted to make sure people knew is like over the last couple of years, property values all across the country have gone up 50, 100%. And, you know, so if you bought a house before 2020, one of the things that you need to do is check your insurance policy, because whenever you bought your house, it had an insurance value for the insurance replacement value for the house. The cost of building and the cost of everything has gone up, you know, with inflation. So the value the replacement value that they may have on that house might not be enough to actually replace that house. So what I urge all of you guys to do is reach out to a real estate agent who is localized in your market, the agent that you've used. If you're in one market and you're watching this, reach out to me, with Troy, and we can do what's called a comparative market analysis for you to let you know what the current value of your home is. That way you can get that information to your insurance provider. They can adjust your insurance. Now, caveat to that is when they adjust your insurance policy,
your appraisal is going up.
The yesterday's price is not going to be tomorrow's price. So you're going to be paying a little bit more, but you know it's much more beneficial for you to pay a couple extra dollars a month than for something to happen to your house, and then you can't replace your house, and then you stuck, you know, in limbo of what to do. You know, you don't have enough to build a house. You know, the house is destroyed, or you know, whatever's wrong with it, and now you know what was, you know, a home is becoming becoming something, you know, detrimental to you and your family and possibly your health. So, you know, please, you know, just reach out. And another thing that you can do, you can go to a place like Zillow, and or Realtor.com, and they can do kind of an automated value for you. But that's never going to be as good as you reaching out to your local real estate professional, because you know, real estate is local. And even in being local, you know, you got to be hyper local in different areas in town where property values could be, you know, a lot more, a lot less, depending on where you stay at. So,
other than, you know, the communities have been built up, I guess your immediate properties in your area, other than your square footage, other than your I guess the square footage. What else I'm thinking? Like what else would affect that value increasing? I mean, of course, just the market itself, your property value with what's being built around you in your nearby area, your square footage. But other than that, what other factors that could contribute to the value of your home?
So if you had an older house and you renovated it, you know, you I always say, if you're going to renovate, you want to make your house look as close to what new construction is today. You know, so, you know, if you updated your kitchen and you did new cabinets, you put in granite countertop. If you put, if you did your flooring, So like in your living room area, if you took that out and put your LVP flooring, which is luxury vinyl planks, that helps increase the value, even down to the paint colors and stuff that you use.
Mm-hmm.
If you use colors that are more trendy to what's going on now, that's going to help. If you have a pole building or like a larger shed that you have electric, if you have heating and airing, that can be used. That can add value to the overall appraisal. And then just really like one of the biggest things is like curb appeal. That's the way the property looks aesthetically from the outside. Before you can even go indoors. So all of those things help in adding value to it. The one thing that I would say that most people don't understand is when you do those big renovations and kitchens and bathrooms and stuff, whatever it costs you, let's say it costs you $10,000 to do that bathroom, realistically in value, it might only be like
$3,000, right?
Value. So, really what you're doing is you're making your house look more like new construction, and you're putting features in there so that when you're going on the market and you're competing with other homes that are similar to yours, you have features in your home that make your home stand out and look like it's a little bit more updated than the other houses, which allows for your house to sell faster. Yeah, so that's what it goes down to. So you got anything else Nitro?
Nah, man, and that's pretty much everything, man. All your big ups, man. We got definitely congratulations to the Dodgers, man. I'm not a Dodgers fan at all, but hey, they went out, they did that thing. Magic Johnson, he's part owner.
Yeah.
So, man, we definitely applaud him, man. Anytime, that's a big feat, man.
And I'm sorry to the Yankees, man. When my guy tried to hedge his bet last week, had on the Yankees outfit last week, come back with the Dodgers.
No loyalty. No loyalty at all,
man. But we thank y'all for being loyalty, man, and tapping in with us. And again, what do you got to do, Troy?
Man, like, share, hit the subscribe button, and tap in with us.
Peace.